Hi, I'm Shelley.
I'm Scott, and it's really important that you guys continue to join us. What's really important is the funding that goes into these projects. It's very expensive, even though a lot of people have helped us out with material. They give us material at cost in many cases, but it's still very expensive. And the shop time and our heat and hydro and other things, there's a lot of expense there that all adds up. So anything that you can do to help out, tell your friends, spread the word, help support Halifax 57 Rescue. There's crowdfunding campaigns going on right now. Seek them out and help us. Every little bit will help, right?
So if you want to be a piece of history, donate today.
Hi, Karl Kjarsgaard, Halifax 57 Rescue. We've got some important announcements and interesting progress on our Halifax bomber rebuild. We're here at Knox Tech with our chief engineering guru, Knox, and Scott's going to fill us in today on all the great progress on the main spar and the ribs and future engineering that's going to go on. So Scott, it's exciting for me to get back here from Alberta and see how things are going, and can you fill us in on the wing ribs and what's to come?
Thanks, Karl. And welcome to Ottawa again. It's always good to see you. After kind of a quiet summer, we're back at it now in the fall and winter, and we're finalizing the last of the new build ribs. There's 4 new build ribs in total to go with the cadre of the rebuilt existing or donor ribs that we had before. So we're getting close now, and we've mocked up today at least a good portion of the ribs that we have that are more or less complete, to give you an idea of what it looks like, and it starts to look like a wing again, and it does indeed make us very excited to keep moving forward and to get this progressing along. It's very exciting. It was a collection of parts for a long time. Now it's starting to look like a wing again, and the way it should be. And I feel like she wants to go back together again. You slip the bolts back into place, and they go back where they were before, and it just seems right. And I'm really looking forward to starting to reassemble.
Right, and we've for our viewers, the people that are keen to follow us as we rebuild this nucleus of a Halifax. We have pre-positioned some of the ribs to show how far along we are, and it's nice for me to see all these ribs in position, because now we're starting to see the heart of the airfoil.
Exactly. So we're standing basically in the crew area on the floor of the fuselage, if you will. So beneath us would have been part of the bomb bay, and we're standing basically on the floor. So we've got areas here where their crew seats would be, their rest area and their crash positions. I'm standing on the center line of the aircraft right now. So what we have set up here is half of the main spar and about half of the ribs for one side, right?
Right.
So the other side would get bolted over here. So
Sure.
This is the direction of flight.
Right, and so the aircraft with the nose would be pointing this way.
That's
the
right.
tail fuselage is going that way.
Correct.
And here is the heart of the airframe right here.
Exactly. So this would be starboard side, right? And at the extremity of this main spar would be the undercarriage and inner nacelle.
Right. And also we're standing right in the crew rest area where the benches for crew, if they came to the center of the bomber, they would be seated on a bench here. Exactly. If required. This is the seating area for any crew members.
That's right. There's a clear area down the middle with a bench on the starboard side and a bench on the port side, basically from rear spar to front spar. So that's where they would go in crash positions, or if they just needed some rest, or if they were injured during a mission.
Sure. Now, I just thought about something, and I'd like to give credit to Harry and the young fellows, the aircraft engineers that are helping you. Can you just list off Harry's name and is it 2 or 3 young engineers that are helping?
We've got, well, Harry Smith has been with us for probably 2 years now, and he's here every weekend. And even if I'm wobbling, he's like, Scott, we got to go to the shop. So he's my my conscience, and he pushes me along, which is brilliant. And thanks to Harry for doing that. And in the last few weeks, we've got 2 new helpers. They're both, pardon me, one of them is an ex-air cadet, and he's got his PPL, and he's currently in aerospace engineering at Ottawa U, I think. Yes, it's Ottawa U. And his friend Noah, and he's also in aerospace engineering. So they're keen to help out. They helped out a little bit over the last couple of years when they had some time, but they want to help out more. And it's brilliant. So when their studies allow, they're going to come out and help us out. So.
Well, I know that Harry is heads up on the history of the Halifax. These young guys, you know how they're into computers and all that stuff. Do these young guys realize this unusual rebuild that they're doing and the significance of the Halifax?
Yeah, I mean, they do. I mean, they're you know, it's a work in progress, right? I mean, when they first got involved, it was more about working on an airplane, right? Now they're starting to understand more the history of the men and the involvement of Canada in those efforts, and so you know, it's a teachable moment. So when they're here smashing rivets, I can tell them about, you know, operations and you know, the things that I know about Canadian aviation history, about Canadian operations, 6th Group and whatnot. So you know, it's a way to impart that knowledge onto the younger generation, right? And you know, and they'll carry it forward, we hope.
Well, I hope so too, because I don't want rebuilding a Halifax to be for the old guys like me that are and my group that are trying to pay tribute. I want these young people to realize. So that's makes me happy that these young guys are keen and they understand it.
Yeah, and you know, and they're telling 2 friends and so on, right? So they're telling their buddies at school, and they're like-minded. So maybe some more students will be coming out to help out over time. I don't know for sure, but we can only accommodate so many people in the shop. So sometimes too many people is too many cooks in the kitchen, as it were. But we can, you know, we can always use them in some way or another, right? So, and again, it's really about spreading the word, right? It's really about education. So whether they help out or not, that's kind of a secondary thing. It's, as you say, it's more about the education, right? Making them knowledgeable, and they're telling their family and friends, and quite often too, you know, almost every Canadian was affected in some fashion or another. So maybe an uncle of one of these students says, "Oh yeah, you know, my father was involved, or my grandfather was involved," and it just, again, it just keeps the memory alive, right?